What is up, ladies and gents? It's BJJ Pastor Raffis with another installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling. We hope you're having a great day. You better be. It's Friday. You guys are probably at work, whether it's time to or not. You guys are seeing the last-minute preparations here on the show. I put in these earbuds, and I do professionally because I put them underneath my shirt. So I'm showing you guys a little bit of how this prep happens. You're seeing a little bit of how the sauce is made and the hair. This is the best production you'll ever get. We hope you're having a great day. We got some stuff to do. I'm excited to meet my good friend, Tim Freeman. We have some announcements and some things that are happening here on the show. Jiu-Jitsu. Tim, how are you doing today?
You know, speaking of sausage, I'm doing great. The Italian man is back. I'm ready to go. Lots of fun stuff happening in the world of jiu-jitsu. Stoked to talk to you about it today, Raph.
So, hold on. When you say sausage man, I guess on this, but like, what is a man, Tim? Like, what purpose does the sausage man do, and what am I missing here?
It's just, you know, you talked about you're going to give a little peek into how the sausage is made. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the sausage man. Let's go.
Gotcha. Okay.
When you, I love sausage because I have strong Italian roots. And when you said sausage, I was ready. I said, yes.
I just, for a second, you the Justice League ever heard of? It's like, well, sausage man over here, he's not very to us, but he does cook a good meal. And don't you need to eat to be a superhero? So I wasn't sure bottom of the barrel, but it could be a new Superman yet to be seen. And we'll see what James Gunn does. Tim, so here's what we need to discuss. There's you, there's me, and then there's whatever this is. So we've gotten a lot of questions about this. I'm trying to figure out the best way to jump into this because it is on the board. But before we address the new news for the team, like, what is a general standpoint for this? Like, what are we doing with this? Like, because we do notes being like, where is he? Oh, man, Kevin, I've got it. What is happening here?
We're looking for him. Been on hiatus and we get some clues. He surfaces from time to time. In fact, I think I should have got a screen cap. Maybe I'll shoot it over for the end, but he sent me a text 2 nights ago and said, I'm in your city. And when you say something like that to me, like, I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Like, pull up and dog. And then he said, just thought I should check in. And I'm like, where are you? Give me your coordinates. And then gone.
So there's not an actual meeting set up.
No, man. It was a tease. Kevin's tease now.
That is his business, sir. I don't know how to tell you this.
You know what I'm saying?
He has turned into our version of Carmen Sandiego. I'm glad in the story you just told, though, that you go, who texted me? And then you get this notification. You're like, who texted me? Sausage Man? Oh, it's Kevin. I was really hoping Sausage Man would come. Nonetheless, we are happy to report there is some news, and we can't do the news until we go to the board. So, the board. I think big congratulations are in order. Good friend Kevin, who it was announced week, has finally earned the achievement of a black belt. So, with that being said, Tim, you put this on the board today. I said for it. We were 50-50. We flipped and you won the coin toss. What is it to say to Kevin on this momentous of days?
Well, I have a couple things to say to Kevin. I actually have more than a couple things, but probably only 2 that are appropriate for this occasion, Kevin. Number 1 is come back home. We love you. We miss you. You're safe with us. Whatever's happened to you is okay. Just come back home. We miss you. Number 2, congratulations on earning the black belt. That's a huge deal. Not an easy task. Kevin has put in a tremendous amount of work or instructor, but also as a competitor. I've watched him personally. This dude is legit as they come, and he's earned that. So congrats, Kevin. It deal. You know, everybody says belts don't know that they do. Having said that, I just want to throw some questions out there. Number 1, where has he been? How does he pop up for air with a new black belt? And in the photo, why is his gear released? It looks rolled in, never been rolled in. Just like one that they have in the academy photos, like get a photo. Oh, the fact they output it on. Like what went on? Venmo transactions. I got to figure out how he got that belt.
No observation. First of which is, we've been missing Kevin on this show for a minute. Is he still associated with through the court? But people said to him, no, look, the photo was just him belt, which is good enough for a well check. He could be held still, but when you go of life, I'm not saying that Tim is onto something here, but it does look suspicious. Age of AI that have been very easily replicated post Kevin's fate on TV. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the photo. It's fine. It's what you need to do now. Motion, but products on BJH head was just posted. Like, you know what
Gordon
I'm
has
talking
a
about when you see
stand-in.
that? It's like backdrop really filled out, and all of a sudden it's somebody that's like, so they're putting like Mason Fowler on the body head, and you go, they Frankenstein those things like that. I guess what is, we need further proof of life. So what's past you guys, because we won't spend too much time on this. Be too good for his ego. Oh, man. I guess this is the best first statement, which is, now that Kevin is a black belt, the standard has officially been lowered. That is accurate. that does say a lot.
That's fired. Damn. And Brandon just got his black belt too. So that's the way to pass it on down
the
the ladder
too, and you don't really see for Brandon McCatherine. So I wanted to put this out to our fans and our friends, which is, do you do a roast for someone when they get a black belt? Now, there's feelings in this sport. We've seen manifest in many different ways. But like this we should do. Would it impair relations of the people on this team forever? And I ask second question, which follows that, which really hurt someone's feelings if not there. If we do a roast, is it better to do it without Kevin being present? Because if that's, he watches this show. So we could, in theory, say whatever we want. And I want to point, it didn't take long for me to pitch this idea than the commish himself to weigh in on it and say, yes, roast, roast, roast. So I feel like my instincts were pretty in line with what maybe the people want. Just allow me 1 second here. Kev, on black belt, let me give you some advice here. You're going to think that you're better than it. Not that different from how you enact in normal day activities. Less and black. So that you got to really, but you know what you can do. Additionally, yes, you should back home. May do where in the world is Car Kevin quite you're that part. Atlanta, Cheryl, we're getting closer. Nonetheless, we would the biggest of achievement, and it one that we happy for you doing a roasting. So yeah, hey, we don't know. Let's go to our second right now, which is this. By the way, get this up. When I saw this, oh man, F will never his black, so we don't give him the customary. Need to brown reason. People don't want to the black dye real dramatic, like throw it off it because you have like once I make brown, y'all are kidding. This is and if you do a roast, you'll know will out you, and that's hangover. Get the joke done. Lo and behold, I've already jokes about no, and in a state that's that probably land better than the you read. I've already written several about for Ed got 0 from him, 100% response rate from Timo. About I will be forever a non-upper belt. I think, and as somebody who's competed recently, so here is this: is Craig losing it? I guess that would imply he had it. No, if that's the case. Some sort of moment where Craig was escorted out of the flow. Alan Ling seemed to be on the fence, seeming to tell us doesn't know exactly what's happening. So Tim, take some steps here. Happening. Of Craig Jones and Flo Grappling.
You know, it's a very curious thing whenever Craig Jones does. It's very difficult to figure out if he's just doing it for the funnies or there's some other story in there or message, because when you look back at the things that he's done, you realize leave clues and things. So this is the thing people need to understand. Right now, we are at a very pivotal point in jiu-jitsu, and Craig is losing it, but he's losing it because he realizes how important it is. There's more going on to this story than meets the eye. And I like where it's going. I think it's going in a good place. It's going in the right place. Craig, if Flo Grappling is an awesome idea. It's a brilliant idea. This is what if I'm Flo, this is what I'm thinking. I want to be cool again. I'm going to start hanging out with Craig. Nobody's going, I want to be cool again. I'm going to go hang out with fucking Mr. Complainer Pants over here. He's not Mr. Sausage, man. Mr. Sausage is hanging out with Craig. So I don't think he's going crazy, but he's definitely firing some shots. He shows up at Flo. He smashes the ADCC Gordon Ryan poster, causes a commotion, gets escorted out, declare on tracks. Kayfabe, is it not? I'm not certain, but I do know that there's more to this story, and it's super, super, super important. There's going to be some juicy stuff. I really, really hope everyone involved does the right thing.
Thank you for that. I'll tell you my reaction to this, which is not far from, I think, most people's. So the first reaction I had was, well, let's see what comes out, and it's him. He gets frame, busts it on his knee, breaks it, and then you go, is that it? Okay. Doesn't seem like you would for doing that, but if that's the case, sure, why not? But what I noticed that was interesting about it is that I had civilians sending me notes and saying like, hey, what's happening here? And I go, I don't know. And it was just from Craig escorted out and getting people in the response or the reply saying, what happened, Raph? And I go, I don't know. I don't want to report something I don't know anything about. So we'll see what happens. Then, him, stone cold noise happens and you think something is happening here. And if that was really it, I said, oh, well, that's just kind of mildly entertaining. Now, not to be outdone, Craig Jones for the Craig Jones Invitational decides to push like that little envelope a little bit closer to the aptly titled Mr. Sausage Man that we have alluded to here, because he's just like, all right, Gable, let's have some fun. And they seem like they're having good-natured fun, which is getting to the part of the rap song that you don't rap. You know what I mean? And they're like right there. So they're playing with this audience's want to see something outside of the norm or to get attention. And I think in that regard, it is succeeding. But it's hard. Like Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, when he's got Harrison Ford pinned down, looks like he's going to capture him, and Harrison Ford is about to be like, hey, I didn't kill my wife. And Tommy Lee Jones just goes, because I don't care necessarily about the pomp and circumstance, but I'm happy that the promo is happening. Because I think the weird part about spectacle is that people want to know why they're doing it. And I think when it's revealed to them that it's potentially something for Craig Jones Invitational or a partnership or doing something business-wise with each other, maybe people really just like that attention. And they say like, oh, cool, he got our attention. That's what you're supposed to do with it. I don't have any answers on whether that's good or bad, but it worked. And I think that's the part that I respect for the community, because it gets more people talking and it gets people pulling me aside at the gym going like, oh, and I go, nothing, man. I'm going to find out when you find out. I think the weirder part is if their feels. Because I couldn't imagine having any, oh, it's just not my thing. But I do assume there is some adverse reaction. But I would say this, nobody really is thinking about the Flo cleanup crew, because it looked like the guys who worked the content also had to do pickup on aisle 7. That's a little unfair. Like, at the very least, Craig should have some guys that he hires to clean up his shenanigans. Like, you have enough money now. You should also, like, if you're going to break it, you buy it as well. So you have a little crew that comes sweeps things around. So just saying, that is some notes here that we wanted to pass on. But I would put this as a caveat. It's inconclusive on its effectiveness for what the campaign is, but I think we can mark it a successful got our attention. So we'll see. But if they come in and Craig decides to do something that's a tie-in that he goes, I'm doing business, I'd be like, oh shit, that actually was genius. I see a note here that just says it's kayfabe full WWE mode. Here's where things get weird. I never sign off on it because people always like to go like, oh, that's so WWE. And I was like, listen, I watched a lot of WWE in my time. Those storylines are a lot more coherent than strung together. So
yeah.
saying even like the worst storylines are like what they were doing there. In jiu-jitsu, when somebody goes, I don't think that's a good idea for anybody, but you know what? You do.
You're going to make a title run, huh?
Say, man, the worst thing you can do is send your stuff to me because I'll rewrite it from square one and be like, nah, none of this works. So there is that. Why don't we go ahead and go to our next topic here, which, Tim, you have very kindly put on our docket as that of an arrest. How will Raph spin the story? So, Tim, I'd like to know, oh, you mean the other Raph, not this Raph, because I was like, I have no dog in this fight.
You like that?
Okay, I thought about it, and I was like, I got nothing to spin here. I think that dude did it, and I think the only thing I got told by somebody, in case you were unfamiliar with this story, Kyle earlier this week was arrested. It did look like a little bit of a sting. He was going to see a prostitute. Turned out it was an undercover cop. That part is where people have some differences in opinion because it does seem like entrapment is something that happens with cops, but it does feel like he was, I don't even know if the word targeted is there fully, but it's just, he is a byproduct of that sting. And I think the bigger implications are that career, his brand, that of a, and more importantly, what does this do for the other Raph? Not that other Raph. We should really put dots on these things. RAF, just as an acronym, just so we don't think this guy has to spin it. But I really want to see what the Real American Freestyle Association does with this news. Tim, what is your take on this situation, and what was your initial reaction to all of it?
You know, the story's been out for about a week, and it has been curious to me that RAF, the Real American Freestyle Wrestling Federation, or whatever that last word is on it, they've been kind of mum on it, been kind of silent. It's probably like, damn, listen, Kyle Snyder is a former Ohio State wrestling national champion. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a big deal. He was their number one athlete that they signed to Real American Freestyle. So this has got to hurt. However, this is Hulk Hogan we're talking about. This is a guy that went to court and had to be cross-examined on his Bubba the Love Sponge sex tape. So I think that they're going to figure out some way to get through that issue. Secondary issue is Pat Downey's pissed. He's salty about this because Pat Downey, a few years back, he actually lost his spot on a wrestling club. I can't remember which wrestling club it was. I might have put it in the notes. But Downey was like, he's not happy about it. He had got into a beef on a tweet back in 2020. He lost his spot at the New Jersey Regional Training Center over something that was like just an internet bullcrap beef. And he's like, man, it's not this. We don't hear anything from USA Wrestling. We don't hear anything from RAF. We don't hear anything from Flow Wrestling. We don't even hear BULLPEN RAF. Well, we heard a little bit, actually. So he's salty, man. So yeah, I don't know how it's going to shake out. I think it sucks for Grappling. I hate it when there's bad news in there. And look, dude, it was for $160. It's like, Kyle Snyder, come on, dog. Let's reevaluate. Like, let's aim high. If we're gonna go, let's go high, dude. Let's not go 160. Anyway,
I've seen a few reactions to this. The first of which was somebody saying, "Oh, it makes me like him better now." Which, okay, going after prostitutes after a very Christian-like life. You do you. I don't want to touch that one too much, but it is a different opinion in that. Even in our comment section, Jonathan James says, I think it's BS. He went to get some additional training in. Noted. Okay. That's a very expensive private, I might say. The one thing that I can take from this is RAF response, not RAF. That's the way we got to do it. It's the RAF, not RAF. Real American style. Host of Grappling Hour, separate entities. I think if anything, it endeared him more to the Hulk Hogan, because Hulk has gotten through so many lies. He probably incriminated himself and lied even worse. It was like, oh, brother, man, that is so crazy that happened to you. But I remember back in 83 after I choke slammed Andre the Giant, didn't slam him, choke slammed him. I got into a bag and it was bad, brother. I was there, 4 different prostitutes. They actually paid me. The government came down on me, brother. Harder than a 3 count after a leg drop. I'm telling you, brother, I got through it and you will too. And they'll be like, there is nothing verifiable in what you just said. He's like, actually, if you sleep with somebody in a different side of the world, it doesn't count. Total different if it's a different zip code, brother. Like, thanks, Hulk. You're actually not the person I want to see when I'm indicted in this stuff. So, yeah, I think Downey's right in calling a double standard there. I think the weirdest part of this situation is this. Anytime you see somebody have a stumble in this realm, if they are an athlete, the immediate thing is to go into their narrative and say, well, I've always known him as a good Christian man. And I'm like, can we pump the brakes? We don't have to comment on everything. I think a lot of the times we don't know everything. So it's usually best to take a little bit of caution, but nothing is better than somebody going real quick in the comment section like, I know exactly what happened. I go, maybe, but I'm not sure we do. And I wonder if in the future Kyle will learn from the example of Hulk and other people and himself in claiming the victim card, because that you see the next play. He already had the God card. That's normally where people go. Maybe he goes deeper into that. I don't know. Hard to say, but it will.
You got to cycle back to it.
You cycle back.
You got to cycle back. You cycle back. You got to go through a few other title defenses, and then you go back to the God card. You find him again. So
I love the fact that they had this amazing signing. Oh, this dude's a legit perfect signing for what now? For a brand new organization. So if you're Eric Bischoff, you're probably not the happiest about this, but it did get the Real American Freestyle back in the news. So I don't know. We'll see. I that is going to be a shit show of an organization, and I do not look forward to it. But it exists. Speaking of existing, let's move on to our next topic, which is that of turf. So this is an interesting take on the genre. Craig Jones was initially telling us that the format of the Ultimate Fighter might be a little tired and true. And if that is the case, don't worry, they're going to revive it in a different form. Only this time, they're upping the ante by making Nate Diaz and John Jones the head coaches, which begs the question, who in their right mind said those are the 2 coaches that you want for stability purposes? Tim?
Oh, that's easy. This Russia does that. This is a Russian MMA show called ALF Reality, and they thought, man, we got a great idea.
Hold on. No.
Yes.
No. You don't come after me and associate my name and sully that shit with RAF and RAF. And you got nothing for ALF? Nothing? As a child of the 80s, Tim, You just skirt by that one real easy.
I love Alf, man. I could never talk smack on Alf, dude. He's he's from Melmac. How could you do that? And he eats cats, man after my own heart. Diaz and Jones, apparently they're gonna oppose each other as coaches on Alf reality, which the potential here is off the chart. This is gonna be in slaps. I could see John Jones. At first, he'll defend with Bible verses, right? But a few weeks in, if the series, we might see a different variation. I would personally to punk these guys and have an USADA show up on and out and say everybody has to be tested, even coaches. Both of these have very checkered relationship with I think that would be fantastic. Here's what this is going to look like. Will we even get to a with both these guys? Perhaps. I don't know. I can't imagine they're going to make them live in the same house, but it's Russia, so I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, the ultimate retired fighter. I'll take a peek at this. I think potential going to go to be seen.
There's nothing going to be funnier to me than hearing Nate Diaz. Oh, I'm sorry, bitch. We gotta send you home because you're being a bitch and choose you to fight because I think you suck. So, sorry, dog. It's a no from me. Like, think that he may be low key the best, reluctantly amazing coach or judge in a season of something since Brittany put on the X Factor and was seemingly confused by her role and had the most chaotic reactions and being like get shared to this day from that era of her going through it. Let's be real, but going through it publicly where people said it's a good idea on television. And let's let you just act normally. And some of those reactions are timeless. I feel like you'll have Nate get you some of those. And if, God willing, John Jones makes it to the end of the experience, you know what? Win. That's the win. The real problem is John Jones will sign up to do something like that, but still will not fight Tom Aspinall. And I think that's a very weird sort of thing doing here. More time to see Tom, but he's got plenty of time to go do a whole season of The Ultimate Fighter, just not on the UFC's diet. Very interesting things here. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of this, but this one that I am nervous for, Tim.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next one, which, man, this is a criminal board here today.
Smooth criminal.
Yeah. The question you have here, and I don't know that I needed to choose, you're making me choose, between the John Wick Invitational or PGF. Tim, why do we need to choose here? And what is the intent behind the board pick?
Well, if you look at the picture, the story away, that is Steve, world-renowned DJ Steve Aoki, and he's hamming it up there, dapping up, maybe doing customary introductory hand wrestling in a fellow setting. You shake hands, you do a drag, little collar tie action. It's the way we greet each other. He's doing that with Diego Lopez, UFC fighter, of course. So, you know, jiu-jitsu lesson. It's a big deal, and I'm going to tell you why. Steve Aoki is the only guy who had a submission named after him before he started jiu-jitsu. And he came into the game with a sub named after him already. So, of course, the promotions are going to be clamoring to sign this guy up. Like, damn. If I'm his agent, is he going John Wick or PGF? Where am I pushing him? Because he's a big deal. I want to go I think he has aesthetic for John Wick. I think you throw a suit on him. He's got that long hair. I think he could be our jiu-jitsu Keanu. This might work. Let's see what happens.
I'm so concerned about all of this. I would welcome you, Mr. Aoki, with open arms to the PGF audience, which may or may not be somewhere I will be. I do wonder, though, what DJs are like outside of what they do in the DJ live format. Like, you know, they're in the studio, they'll do some DJ stuff, music stuff. That's fun. I like that. The only time I see them live, normally, if they're not like him, and he's an entrepreneur and has his hands in a number of different things, I actually think that he was partnered at some point. But I don't think I have visuals of other DJs that aren't like this at like a live event. Like, yeah, let's go. Hey, like, I think more than buttons and spinning things, I see more DJs when they cut to them doing this. And I think to myself,
yeah,
you know, I would like that energy at one of our events. I don't want to say anything crazy, but we at Subversive do have live DJs mixing to basically the movements in front of them. So I don't want to say PGF or John Wick Invitational. How about come to the one that I do? Because we actually have a format for DJs to basically provide the soundtrack to the people who are competing. So, yoink. I'm going to steal that one right there. And I would tell you
good
this.
Call.
Steve Aoki, you've done maybe one, two, a few classes, let's say this. Come to Subversive. You want to see the true fusion of jiu-jitsu, music, and nonsense. And I think in this world, you kind of want to see the nonsense. At least that's what Craig Jones has led me to believe. So I'm going to stop trying to do it the right way and just do more nonsense now. I think that's the way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, listen, dude, wherever you can train, wherever you're going, huge fan of that. Very pleased to see some celebs get into this world, and it can only help. It's great seeing people like Ronnie Chang, Jonathan Lipnicki, all these people who have exposure from a different realm in their life, bringing more and more attention to it. So we welcome you to come do our sport. It's just, you know, it might hurt for a little bit, but then you'll see why we're all so crazy about it. And more importantly, give us money. Like, really, that's what we want. Legitimately invest in this thing. Because if you like it, give us a real investment. Like, let's take this Shark Tank for sports. That's what we should do. A Shark Sports. You sit down, people pitch to you the next big sport. And people with money, don't tell me they don't have it, because I just went to Allegiant Stadium and that thing was blowing out money out of its ass. So I'm just saying, somebody with money can do good things for us. So, DJ, Mr. Aoki, please feel free to come through and reach out to your boy Raph here for a complimentary ticket and VIP experience. All right, we'll do that for you.
I like how you started low and you bumped it up quickly.
Hey, you know, somebody yelled at me yesterday because we were training and we got finished, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I have a Patreon." He goes, "I didn't know you have a Patreon." I was like, "Yeah, do it for $5." And he goes, "Okay." And he goes, "Is there another tier?" I go, "Yeah, there's a $10 tier." And he goes, "Why didn't you lead with that?" I was like, "You don't pay to come train with me. I want you to come in at the base level, and if you like it, then go up one." So you don't always have to lead with your number and be like, VIP experience. I want to be like, nah. A real one would say, I'm kind of interested. And then would go, oh, he's spicing it up at the end. I like that. As opposed to me being like, please come, VIP experience. And then Aoki being like, no, kid. I'm not going to that. Like,
gross.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next topic here, which is that of a roll call. So when you start talking about the elements of roll calls, we're trying to figure out here if this is something that is worthy of either a plus of a yellow card. Now, in this particular aspect here, I think trying to figure out Are we trying to acknowledge people for what they've done here, like a feel good sort of situation, Tim? And who are we trying to give a feel good sort of to in our world of the bullpen?
Well, I think we're trying to do both. This is my way of throwing a topic on the board where we can do some congrats, some call outs, and maybe a little cleanup at the same time, right? So, one thing that I noticed was ADCC Open Atlanta, the 83 kilogram division, the results, it was basically the PGF All Star lineup. Cam Hurd, which big congrats to Cam, man. This is a guy who's been working super duper hard. Kevin Buring and Ernesto Rivera, first, second, and third place. So hats off to those guys. That's an applause. Dope job. You guys are awesome. I'm going to throw out another applause, which at first I was like, yellow card. And I'm like, no, I think it's applause. Dylan Dennis, speaking of maybe Craig having a cleanup guy, it's not a bad guy. Hire, have him come pick up the glass. And Tom DeBlas, make peace on the internet. This is internet peace. This is not say it to my face, Tom DeBlas peace. Internet peace over anti-bullying causes. Maybe they don't hate each other. They just hate everyone else. So I wanted to throw those out there, Raph. I don't know if you have any. I left one more on there if you want to take a stab at it. But yeah, man, just a way where we could go like, hey, good job looking good or good job looking dumb. Either way, good job.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. I'm glad you left this one for me. So thank you for that. Before I acknowledge what it is, you guys will figure it out very quickly on which way you're supposed to go on this. I want to point this out. When you say applause or yellow card, I'm very soccer trained. So my brain was like, well, sometimes you get a yellow card, and if it's in favor of your team, that's a good thing. Nobody likes getting a yellow card, but it is just a warning. So I feel like you sending off this, like, how dare you, may have the repercussions that Craig may face from Flo, if you get what I'm saying. Like, not real repercussions, just like fake ones. So, okay. What are we saying here? All right. Out there, the fight nerds, everybody knows who these people are. They've done some great things. Well, John Silva from the fight nerds choked a fan unconscious while he was tapping out. Worse, his wife was right there, and she was saying, hey, he's tapping. So, are you supposed to give this guy applause or a yellow card? Wow.
Man.
What a conundrum you've left me here with, Tim. How do you say give this man applause when his wife is begging and pleading and saying, please don't kill my husband? And yet at the same point, sometimes you want to choke a bitch. And that's a real downside of this world of jiu-jitsu, which is, why do we always have to be the good guys? You know what I mean? Like, this dude was clearly said, like, no, do this. It's fine. I'm going to be a dumb jock. I'm going to be a dumb idiot. I'm going to poke the bear. And, oh, shit, I'm... So I guess I have to give it a yellow card. There's slight applause, which is, at least it shut somebody up. I don't love choking somebody in front of their wife. I think that's actually the worst thing you can do. Everybody knows that you only beat up another dude in front of their wife when she is at the gym and all she has to do is laugh at her husband. That is the time to actually make that dude, who usually should be training, feel a little bad about themselves. But yeah, Tim, where was I supposed to go on that one? Was I supposed to be like, actually, just kidding, I see it as he should get applause?
I mean, I probably think it's a yellow card. It's not good to get choked out in front of your wife. It's like, I guess my question is, what led this gentleman to get into that position with this fighter in the first place?
That's the part that I think people were most confused about. And I saw one person on Twitter saying, "Oh, we need this fight nerd to lose now." And I go, I don't know the situation here. It feels like because he trains, he should know better, which always is the suckiest thing. But okay, he did do it. So there's no denying that's kind of a not cool thing to do. But then we've all had somebody who's a little too far, and that's the nice redeeming factor about jiu-jitsu. So
Yeah.
I guess my thought process is, hey man, it would have been just fine had you not disrespected the tap. But also, can you tap in the streets? There are a lot of questions I don't understand. I think the biggest problem is if the wife is telling you like, hey, please don't do that, and you've got a mission to prove, my brother, you are committing murder. Like, that's just assault, brother. So I hope you're okay. I hope everybody was good about it, but that could easily become a lawsuit. And if you don't believe so, go ask Hulk Hogan about Richard Belzer.
Oh man, yeah.
And tell me your thoughts on that. Anyway, if anybody can come back and teach you how to slide something under the rug, nothing quite like choking out a host on television who is asking for it and their head hitting the ground hard. So,
yeah.
Just a little education for you kids. Tim, why don't we move into this week's low light highlight of the week? You picked a fight for us. What is it that we need to know about this week's fight?
This week's fight is a pretty straightforward fight with a very entertaining technique, something that I didn't really see coming, but highly entertaining. And this in and of itself was enough to bump it up to be this week's fight.
Well, I think that solidifies it enough. I think we could take a look at this fight right now. We will go ahead and play it. If you'd be so kind to narrate it for us here, good sir, the fight is all yours.
So these two cars, I don't know if they were going to race and they got in a fight over the starting line, but old man gets out and he's laying into Passenger pretty hard, and he's got the high ground, and Passenger's trying to fight with him. And at a certain point, he realizes, wait a minute, I'm fighting to lose a battle. Jesus. Let me use my head. Pops out of the sunroof like a damn magician. David Copperfield's it. And now we get the dramatic rear view mirror shot, the side mirror, and all we see is a dude catching a beat down there.
Fascinating. Okay. I do have questions for this, but I guess I'll take my stab at it next. Let's start with this. When do you know that you're getting into trouble here? Because, Tim, without knowing it, you definitely have come back to our age-old question of hats versus glasses. But this time, you up the ante by saying, what happened if two hats? Well, two hats doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get along. And this dude has just come from the Costco and is quite angry. Goes over to confront somebody who has a window open. Really, that is your first mistake. And that just leaves you open to getting punched in the face repeatedly here. And it looks like he's trying to appeal to his greater senses. Like, hey, bro, do we really have to settle it like this? Hey, man, that's not cool. Please don't hit me. And then we reveal one extra little bonus here, though. Bald. Now, Tim, hats, glasses, hats bald, hats hair. Oof. Lots of new gang wars coming up. But the sunroof emergence is him like being reborn. Like that's when Superman goes to the sun and gets recharged. He went from being, ow, please, sir, don't hurt me, to I am one with myself. Gets on top and says, all right, let's make this a real fight, old man. This is what I have to respect about the person filming it. He's not committing, or they're not committing to being so present they can be seen because they might get punched. They've seen how they can punch through just an open window. So instead, he goes the Hitchcock angle, which is the building tension angle of the rear view mirror, stays on it, and just leaves it to your imagination. And what's great is you don't only get like the rear view mirror angle, but you get the mini rear view mirror. So it's like 2 shots in one. And it really puts a nice perspective on it. But I want to go to the one part here that made me laugh uncontrollably, which is, okay, he's punching him, but there's nowhere else to go. So I guess the real thing that happens for me is, it took me a second to realize, Tim, this isn't even the driver, right?
Passenger.
This is a passenger. So what's the driver doing in this situation? That's what I wanted to know. Like, how are you letting your boy get just wrecked? And you don't even say, like, was the driver the hype man that goes, go, you got to get out, man. You got to get out there and get some respect on that name. Because to me, that's the literal definition of someone being ride or die. Person who's die.
Yeah.
For you, not for me. I have to ride. I'm too busy in my ride to die for you. So I think we learned a lot there, Tim. And I just want to circle back here as we go ahead and put a nice little spin close to all of this. Thank you so much for your comments and your notes. I don't think I left too many unsaid, but I will come here. This was hot dogs. That was put a little bit earlier. Thank you for that, Bougie.
Great.
And earlier, we got a sup players from Wallow, which we appreciate. We will have some new news for you about PGF, I'm sure, sooner than later, but we thank you. Tim, why don't you tell the people where they can find you, good sir?
Check me out inside BJJ favorite social media platform. If you are in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. If you're out in Stockton, please check out my homies at 10th Planet Stockton. Raph, great to be back. Great to see you today. Big congrats to Kevin Sherrill. Hope to see you soon, buddy.
It was pretty good until the end when I thought you were saying like he was dead and you're going to see him in the afterlife. Like, just the closing toward the end had me a little confused because everything was like, hey,
read his obituary.
So happy. Good for you, Kevin. It's been double. Throw it into the coffin. Just want. That's the way it's going to go. Great. I think you guys have to do it with me, and you have to play the clip of me saying nobody will get bigger laughs than what I did, and see if that gets a laugh. We'll see. I don't know, but I've already given it to you. So mark this episode 55 of the Bullpen. Tim, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time here today. I'm going to go ahead and close this bitch up. I'll talk to you a little bit later, sir.
Thank you, brother.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's installment of the Bullpen. I hope that you enjoyed this one. We slaved on the craft of this episode to give you guys quality stuff. So the least you can do, give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, wherever you're watching. We would appreciate that. That is good currency to us here on this show. And if you like, tell us why you like this show in the comments. That definitely helps us out. And I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you can also go to our Patreon. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/grappling hour. Tim has one at Inside. If you go there on my channel for $5 a month, you can see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars more, you can find some extra bonus content not available anywhere else. So it really does matter to us here. Additionally, you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all at Grappling Hour. You can also find us on Instagram at Bullpen Live, the Bullpen Live. So find us there. And I guess, guys, that's going to do it for us here. We appreciate you watching. Be back next week for another installment of the Bullpen. But for right now, that's going to do it for us here. Thanks, you guys, so much for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. As a reminder, it has truly been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.